Johnny Got His Gun by Dalton Trumbull. This might be the most powerful book I've ever read. Obviously, the author was passionate about this topic, which is anti-war. The book was published in 1939, was set during World War I. It's about a character named Joe Bonham. He is a soldier, and he happens to be in a trench when a bomb hits him. And it blows off his arms, his legs, his face. There's barely anything left of him. He is taken to a hospital. He's more like an experiment, just to see how long this legless, armless, faceless person can live. He is fed through a tube, and he doesn't even breathe on his own. A machine breathes for him. He is conscious the whole time while he is lying in this bed. I don't think that the doctors knew he was conscious. The narrator says he couldn't live like this because he would go crazy, but he couldn't die because he couldn't kill himself. Inside his mind, he cries out for his mother, and that's a very emotional scene in the book when he is crying out. Now, he couldn't talk, so he sensed his surroundings. He sensed whether a nurse was young or old, heavy or thin, just by the vibrations on the floor. He also sensed when there were other doctors or people around him observing. He could sense all of that. He tries to communicate via Morse code. Morse code is a system of dots and lines. I don't know if people still use it. They might. He uses his head to tap S.O.S on his pillow. But the nurse assumes that he's having a seizure, and the doctor gives him a sedative. Eventually, a different nurse comes by, and she outlines Merry Christmas on his chest, and they have a form of communication. And so she goes and gets someone, and then eventually another person comes, and it's a guy. He's tapping on Joe's head. He says, "What do you want?" Joe says, "Let me out." The man said, "What you ask is against regulation. Who are you?" Joe just kept saying, "Let me out." And eventually he was given a sedative. Now, I don't know if this was a sedative to relax him or to kill him, because the ending is somewhat vague. It could go either way. I believe chapter 10 reveals the author's anti-war stance. He asks a lot of questions, like, what is liberty? What is freedom? He says these are just words that people are fighting for. Although these words have a sort of magic to them that inspire the masses. And then he's like, well, who are you fighting for exactly? Now, I would like to say that if I were a father, I would tell my son, you do not sign up for the military. I forbid it, because the military is an industrial complex designed to destroy innocent people, mostly. Some might be guilty of something, but to be honest, all these drone strikes on Syria, places like that, it's ridiculous. Well, I agree with the author on this, even though I know that the author was a communist or a suspected communist. That was his business. But I do agree with his anti-war stance in this book. Metallica created a song back in the 80s called One. I want to recite those lyrics. In fact, those lyrics sum up the whole book. You could read through these lyrics and you could actually tell somebody what the book is about from these lyrics. 1 by Metallica. I can't remember anything. Can't tell if this is true or dream. Deep down inside, I feel to scream. This terrible silence stops me. Now that the war is through with me, I'm waking up, I cannot see. That there's not much left of me. Nothing is real but pain now. Hold my breath as I wish for death. Oh, please, God, wake me. Back in the womb, it's much too real. In pumps life that I must feel, but can't look forward to reveal. Look to the time when I'll live, fed through the tube that sticks in me, just like a wartime novelty, tied to machines that make me be. Cut this life off from me. Hold my breath as I wish for death. Oh, please, God, wake me. Now the world is gone, I'm just one. Oh, God, help me. Hold my breath as I wish for death. Oh, please, God, help me. Darkness imprisoning me. All that I see, absolute horror. I cannot live, I cannot die, trapped in myself, body my holding cell. Landmine has taken my sight, taken my breath, taken my hearing, taken my arms, taken my legs, taken my soul, left me with life in hell.